down. Hands where I can see them. Do not move.
You know, for 15 years, my husband, Commander Ethan Cole, spent his life running towards the danger, protecting the Constitution, fighting the bad guys thousands of miles away. We always knew, that the one place we were safe was right here, in our own home, in Tidewater Heights, Virginia Beach. I mean, this is a military town, right? Flags on every porch, neighbors who cover each other when deployment hits. We thought we were family, but that all shattered at 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. I had just gotten home from a brutal 12-hour shift time. Dr. Amelia Cole, pediatric ICU nurse, King's Daughters Children's Hospital. I'd spent the whole night trying to save a 6-year-old drowning victim. Ethan had just gotten back yesterday from a classified 6-month SEAL deployment. He was upstairs, finally sleeping the deep, exhausted sleep of a combat veteran home safe, and I was just trying to lock the door behind me. That's when the police lights hit, red and blue strobing across my scrubs like a nightmare circus. And Officer Rick Monroe came barreling up our driveway. He was massive, radiating a smell of stale coffee and pure contempt. "Get your hands where I can see them now," he snarled, standing inches from me. "You people think you can just ignore police orders." I was shaking, raising my hands slowly, my ID badge catching the light. "Officer, please, I'm a nurse. I just got home from work. My husband is sleeping upstairs." Monroe just laughed a dry, venomous sound. "Nurse, right? And I'm the Pope. Anonymous tip says you got weapons in there. Time for a little house inspection." When I protested, saying he didn't have a warrant, his face twisted with pure racial hatred. "I don't need a warrant for drug dealers, sweetheart." He didn't see an exhausted nurse. He saw a stereotype. And he had no idea that the man sleeping upstairs wasn't just some husband. He shoved past me into the living room, his tactical vest scraping the doorframe, violating our home with his presence. I whispered, "Please, keep your voice down. My husband just returned from deployment." That just made him angrier. He grabbed a framed photo from the Mantelethon in his dress uniform. Bronze star on his chest, trident pin gleaming hand, slammed it to the hardwood floor. The glass exploded. "Nice costume party pictures. You can buy this military Halloween crap anywhere." I stood there, paralyzed, watching him deliberately destroy pieces of our life. "Sir, that's my husband, Commander Ethan Cole, U.S. Navy SEALs. You can verify his record." "Cut the crap, lady." He kicked the broken frame aside. "I know exactly what goes on in houses like this. Drug money pays for fancy military costumes and fake ID. You people always think you're so clever." His partner, Officer David Chen, a rookie, was shifting uncomfortably by the door, his eyes wide. I could see the conflict in him, as academy training screaming wrong, but his fear of Monroe's 12-year reign of terror keeping his mouth shut. Monroe continued his illegal rampage. He didn't find drugs or weapons, of course. He found children's artwork, bills, mortgage statements, piano lesson receipts, all the mundane evidence of a normal, striving American family, which he sneered at as suspicious paperwork, forged to hide your drug trafficking income. Then, the final, unforgivable escalation. Our 12-year-old daughter, Chloe, called down from the hallway, terrified. "Mommy, why are there loud angry voices downstairs? Is Daddy okay?" I moved immediately, my maternal instincts overriding everything. "I'm coming up. Baby girl, everything's going to be okay." But Monroe blocked the stairs, his hand hovering over his holstered weapon. "Nobody moves anywhere without my explicit permission. I might need to call Child Protective Services. Can't have innocent kids living in a drug house with illegal weapons lying around." That threat, the idea that this monster could weaponize the state to take my children based on nothing but hatred, it broke me. It stole my breath. I realized this man, with his badge and uniform, was the single greatest threat my family had ever faced. Far more dangerous than anything Ethan encountered overseas. Chloe was crying now, clutching a stuffed animal in her cartoon pajamas. Our 8-year-old son Liam appeared behind her, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, asking the question that pierced my soul. "Mommy, why is he breaking Tommy's things?" Daddy always said police officers protect children. Monroe, fueled by malice, started up the stairs, 2 at a time. Kids make perfect drug mules. Time to search every room for weapons and contraband. I threw myself between him and Chloe's bedroom door, sobbing, "She's 12. You cannot search a child's bedroom without a warrant and parental consent." He shoved me aside with casual brutality, sending me crashing against the hallway wall. And then he was gone, ransacking Chloe's sanctuary, scattering her diary pages and jewelry across the floor. But as the terror peaked, the floorboards of the master bedroom creaked again. Heavy, purposeful steps. A sound that was suddenly not frantic or panicked, but utterly controlled. The master bedroom door opened with a quiet, lethal authority, and Commander Ethan Cole emerged. He was fully awake. And he wasn't wearing pajamas. He was wearing his full, crisp, Navy SEAL dress uniform. His 6'2" frame filled the doorway. The bronze star, the purple heart, the sacred trident pin, they all gleamed in the harsh porch light. He looked like justice personified, and he had the cold, focused precision of a man who had commanded special operations in hell itself. Monroe froze on the staircase, his racist swagger evaporating instantly. The two officers were facing each other, but only one of them was a warrior.
There was total silence, except for my children's whimpering. Monroe, who was seconds ago threatening to destroy my family, was now a schoolyard bully caught red-handed. His hand trembled on his holstered weapon. Ethan didn't shout. He didn't need to. His voice carried the calm, deadly authority of someone who gives orders that determine life and death. "Lower your weapon, officer," Monroe stammered. I was responding to an anonymous tip about weapons. "Your wife was acting suspicious." "My wife," Ethan stated with devastating precision, never taking his eyes off him, "is a pediatric ICU nurse who just saved a child's life. You entered our home without a warrant, terrorized our family, and destroyed our property." Officer Chun, the rookie, saw his chance and stepped forward, visibly relieved. "Commander Thompson, I'm Officer Chun. I tried to tell my partner we should verify the report. I will testify to everything I witnessed here tonight." Ethan's tactical mind immediately assessed the situation. Good cop, and the bad cop was now cornered. He wasn't dealing with some random citizen. He was dealing with a decorated military officer with direct access to the highest levels of the Pentagon. Ethan pulled out his phone with deliberate ceremony. "Officer Mitchell, you have 60 seconds to provide your badge number before I activate military channels." He scrolled through his contacts, reading them aloud like a death warrant. Admiral Richardson, Naval Special Warfare Command. Congressman Williams, Armed Services Committee. FBI Deputy Director Martinez, Civil Rights Division. One phone call brings federal investigators within hours. Monroe's face went utterly ashen. He realized military families don't file complaints with local internal affairs. They hit the nuclear option. "Sir, please, I have a wife, kids, mortgage payments," Monroe begged, his voice high and thin with desperation. "Maybe we can work something out. Handle this internally." I stepped forward, my voice cutting through his pleading. "Handle it internally? You threatened to take my children. You called us drug dealers. You destroyed our home. You will not handle this internally." Ethan knelt down to Liam's level, his voice gentle but firm. "Tommy, when people break the law, even people wearing uniforms, they face consequences. That's how justice works in America." He stood back up, looking at Monroe. "Officer, you need a criminal defense attorney. In 10 minutes, you'll be under federal investigation for civil rights violations, assault, illegal entry, and terrorizing a military family." The ensuing investigation was an avalanche. Within 72 hours, FBI and NCIS agents occupied the Virginia Beach Police Department. Officer Chin's courageous testimony sealed Monroe's fate. He confirmed Monroe turned off his radio to go rogue and planned the whole search based on a racial hunch. The fallout was complete. Rick Monroe was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison for civil rights violations and assault. He lost his pension, his freedom, and his reputation. The city paid our family $8 million in damages. More importantly, the Department of Justice imposed a federal consent decree on the Virginia Beach Police Department, mandating comprehensive reform, civilian oversight, and banning racial profiling. The reforms were immediately dubbed the Cole Protocol. 2 years later, Ethan retired from active duty and established the Thompson Foundation for Police Accountability, helping other military families document and fight police misconduct. I continue my work as a nurse, but now I speak to police academies about bias and compassion. Our home, the one Monroe violated, has been restored. The shattered frames replaced, but the most important thing is that my children, Chloe and Liam, are no longer terrified. They are confident, young Americans who know that the greatest strength comes not from a weapon, but from the truth, and that the uniform of a hero is not always a badge. Sometimes, it's a set of hospital scrubs or a military dress uniform. Final, open-ended thought and call to action. This story is a brutal reminder. If a decorated Navy SEAL commander's family can be terrorized in their own home, what protection is there for a family with fewer connections or resources? We chose the nuclear option to protect future families. But I want to know from you, when a public servant, someone sworn to protect you, becomes the greatest threat, what is the most powerful resource a regular citizen has to fight back? Is it the cell phone camera, the congressman, or just unwavering dignity? Tell me your thoughts below. If you believe accountability matters more than authority, hit that like button and subscribe. We need your voice to keep fighting these shadows.